another ology for me, Grant?
I do, as a matter of fact.
All right.
How about zygology? Zygology. Zygology.
Zygology. That's either joining or is it...
Yes, very good.
Okay.
The study of joining and fastening. I was imagining if you were a carpenter, you would need good zygology, right?
Yes. I see my zygologist once a week.
Oh, your chiropractor? Is each part of your spine joined to the other correctly?
Something like that.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. If you buy, sell, manufacture, import, export, or study industrial fasteners like a science, well, this is the podcast for you, and we're so glad you clicked in, everybody. Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined as always by the co-host of Fully Threaded. He's godfather of the industry legend software, The Scrubber, and he's also a heck of a nice guy. Hey, Bri, you doing all right?
Yeah, I am. Godfather. I think I'll do father, okay?
Progenitor, how about that?
Yeah, okay. Cool. I mean, it's what's not to like about beautiful sunny days, that's it.
Yes, well, spring has finally sprung in the Midwest, has for a couple of weeks now, but I guess we will dwell on it because we can't take anything for granted these days.
True.
But you almost can take for granted, folks, that we've got another episode of fascinating talk radio for you here on Fully Threaded Radio. This is episode 128. We're publishing this time on May 24th, 2018. And if you do study fasteners like a science, well, you'll be interested in our feature segment today, which is a conversation with a zygologist and fastener industry Hall of Famer, Mike McGuire. He joins us from his laboratory out there in Scottsdale, Arizona, for a conversation about the industry, what he's up to lately, his thoughts on the current fastener show landscape, the Hall of Fame, and a few other topics as well. You won't want to miss it. We're going to kick things off, however, with a conversation hosted by the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey. She speaks with Shenice Peterson of Empire Bolt and Michael Shibasaki from Fuller Metric. They are past winners of the FCH and Fastener Training Institute Scholarship, which we're pleased to announce will be holding again this year. She'll talk with these two past winners of that scholarship, give you a little bit of detail what goes into a winning essay, and what to expect if, in fact, you do win the grand prize. Or, Bri, they're doing 4 runners-up again this year, so that's great news.
Yeah, now, everyone knows this. I mean, this is a great prize for someone who is, making their way into the industry or up the industry. A great week of training. They get their certification at the end of it. And all it really takes is the ability to learn, a willingness to learn, and a willingness to be able to write a good essay about why this is going to be such a great thing for your life.
100%. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes in greater detail. But the Certified Fastener Specialist designation is, I guess the next best thing to being an actual zygologist.
If you can work out what that is. Okay?
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more coming up, too. Mike McNulty is back with the Fastener News Report on this episode, everyone. And he's talking with Würth Executive Vice President Marc Strandquist about the latest Fastener Distributor Index numbers. Carmen Vertullo talks head markings on the Fastener Training Minute. And Brian and I will round out the podcast with a little bit of our typical prattle. So you don't want to miss it, folks. And we've got a great lineup of sponsors, as always, Bri. Who might they be?
Yeah, we have a great list of sponsors. The title sponsor of Fully Threaded Radio is Stillfast. Stillfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, BTM Manufacturing, InSequel Software, the International Fastener Expo, the Würth Group, ND Industries, Fastenal, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Yeah, so thanks to all of our sponsors. We've had a long, great relationship with them. We hope it continues because that's what allows us to produce fully threaded radio.
And who doesn't want that to continue? Answer, certainly not zygologists in the making.
right.
Of which there are many in the fully threaded radio audience, and we appreciate each and every one of you listening in. Get with us anytime. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com, and you can communicate with us on Twitter, where the handle is fullythreaded. Hey, Bri, we launched today's episode with a short snippet from a podcast called Away with Words, which is a public radio program all about language, and it's examined through the prism of history, culture, family, etc. Sounds like your kind of show, actually.
Does indeed.
Yeah, but I did quite a bit of searching for the roots of the word zygology. We'll talk about this at the end of the podcast today a little bit more, but I thought, gee, this was pretty much the most definitive thing I could find about it, and it is a word that's definitely shrouded in mystery.
Right, as I found too, actually.
Which, when you think about it, is a lot like a lot of fastener standards, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, the more you dig into them, the more you find that they're misused frequently.
Yeah, we had a conversation at the recent NCFA Fastener Social where we discovered that actually certain companies just make up names for bolts and stuff, like on the fly, just to confuse people.
Yeah, and they successfully confuse me, I have to tell you, because I'm the one that has to look at the stuff and work out what the scrubber, why it doesn't understand it.
Yeah, what was the latest one?
Well, this is a strange one, and if any of our listeners know what this is, then they can please tell me. I had someone come up to me recently and they said, well, I've got something here that I'll bet you've never heard of. It's called a loom bolt. And it's true, I've never heard of it. And I could not find any useful reference to what is this thing on Google. And I noticed that Solution Industries has 2 of them, but they're not sure what they are either. Everyone's forgotten what this thing is, okay? A loom bolt.
I thought the story had something to do with them admitting that they just made that name up to throw off the customer from buying it from a competitor.
I don't think it related to that, because another person actually used this terminology to me. So apparently someone knows what it is. And maybe who knows, maybe the loom relates to electrical wiring loom. I don't really know. The word bolt is used pretty freely, okay? And anyway, so I don't know what this is. All I know is there are 2 of them, 2 lines of them on FCH, okay? If you search hard enough.
Mysteries abound here on the podcast, everyone.
Oh, yeah, right.
But one thing isn't a mystery, and that is that we'll be back right after a couple of messages from our aforementioned sponsors. And when we do, we'll put a wrench to this one.
Okay.
It's Fully Threaded Radio.
When people think Fastener Talk Radio, they think, But then they think of Fully Threaded Radio. Talk radio for the fastener industry.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Harry, now that you use InSequel software, how do you like it?
InSequel has delivered. They truly are written for fastener distributors. It's affordable and their support staff is great.
We found InSequel's support staff has depth. They know our industry, and they certainly know their software. I see they've helped you pronounce InSequel.
Yes, but what does InSequel mean? Is it written in SQL? Is the data stored in SQL? Are they located in SQL?
InSequel uses the industry standard Microsoft SQL database, which is why it's so powerful and easy to use.
Oh, the database is stored in SQL. I don't even know where that is. I hear it's a nice place.
Harry, InSequel uses a SQL database because it's current technology and your data is completely accessible. No more expensive custom reports.
Is that why InSequel is so easy to use? Where is SQL on the map?
One of their many support members will help you answer that. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call toll-free 877-446-9775.
This is Bryn Stack from Spencer Products, your source for threaded inserts, blind rivets, and huck bolts. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric, so glad to be back with you. From Boston to Beijing, California to Croatia, and yes, even Bolingbrook, Illinois.
Yes. Right.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, everyone. It's amazing, Bri, how many emails and comments we receive from people that have these weird, out-of-the-way places that they hear the podcast from, and it's kind of cool to hear because we actually are reaching out to a wider and wider audience all the time.
Right. And we'd like to be even wider still. So if you have some friends who think you might be interested in learning a little bit about fasteners, then make sure you hook them up with this podcast, okay?
I had the chance to head out to a not-so-out-of-the-way place recently, Brian. That was Scottsdale, Arizona. Had the chance to attend the Pac West Spring Conference. Now, they were billing this as their 50th anniversary celebration, and as they always do, they put on a heck of a conference, and they had a great party.
Yeah, the dinner's usually a little bit exciting for the Pac West, isn't it?
Yeah, that's always the highlight.
Yeah, there's something that goes on that would make me want to sort of hide under the table usually, because I try and avoid being picked for these things.
Yeah, you're talking about the games that they have. Each table is competing with every other table, and then normally somebody from each table has to be the spokesman or really the whipping boy for the whole thing. But in this case, they did away with the games because there was a presentation that was given by Russ Doran of Timberline Fasteners, Würth Timberline these days. And I tell you, I need to congratulate him because he did an outstanding job. He had the entire place rolling with his presentation on marketing fasteners.
Okay, well, how come rolling as opposed to very interested in learning?
Yes, sounds like a dry topic area, doesn't it? Well, keep in mind that we usually refer to the Pac West as the grooviest of all the fastener associations. Of course, Russ is from Colorado, and a lot of Californians in the audience as well. Well, let's just say it this way: it's a family show, Bri. And this was a G-rated presentation that he gave, but essentially he gave a slideshow and he was comparing the marketing of fasteners to the marketing of, I guess let's call it the newest legalized product in the country that's popular in California and Colorado.
Okay.
And he threw a lot of ideas out there, and judging from the reaction of the people in the room, there were a lot of people out there who could identify with some of his ideas, and it was a good time. He's really a great speaker. Now, having said that, we need to offer congratulations to Russ for a couple of other reasons as well. First of all, he has formally announced his retirement from Timberline. As most of you know, Timberline Fasteners was acquired by Würth. Geez, it's probably been around a year back now, Bri.
Yeah.
And so he is transitioning onto his next role in life, which is not going to be at Timberline. So congratulations, Russ. And in addition to that, right after his presentation, Kevin Chavez, president of Pac West, presented him with a lifetime honorary membership to the Pac West, which...
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was very well deserved.
And also, Russ has been a very long-time friend of FCH. I mean, Timberline signed up as a FCH member years and years ago, and we've had great connection relationship with Russ and the rest of Timberline people. Great members.
That's true. Well, it was good to see him out there. It was good to see so many of the people out there. We'll have Mike McGuire on the podcast a little bit later, and that was where I kind of reconnected with him after, it's probably been a couple of years since I saw him out at the Vegas show.
Yep.
And hats off to the whole Pac West, the board, and Vicki Lester and her team. It was just a very worthwhile event. Their next one's coming up in Montana, I think, Brian. That's in August. Maybe we'll get Kevin out here to preview that.
Okay. That'll be fun. You haven't been to one of their dues for a while, actually.
You're not complaining, are you?
No, I'm just saying I haven't.
I mean, you have been doing your share of gallivanting around the country, around the world this year.
Yeah, I know. You do actually have to sort of put some time aside to actually work, I have to say that.
It's true. When we were at the Distributor Social a couple of weeks ago here in Cleveland, several people commented that, gee, we have to get some work done. We just keep going from event to event, and a lot of you in the audience have been at a lot of these events. Maybe some of you haven't, and hopefully you're living vicariously through us, or maybe it's annoying. What do you think, Brian?
We'll go with living vicariously, okay?
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Yeah, I prefer that than being really annoyed.
Yeah. Well, we're back in the office, like it or not, and you mentioned the beautiful weather we're having here, and I think the crappy weather that we had for most of the spring was really a blessing in disguise because it kept us off of the lake and wondering what the fishing was like, and now here we are back in the office, stuck here, and we're all in catch-up mode, and there's lots of work to be done. And that work for Brian and I relates to the FCH Sourcing Network, which is found at www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. It's a huge online resource. Most of you are familiar with it. We appreciate you getting out to FCH anytime you're looking for a hard-to-find part, a fill-in if your stuff's on the water, or you're looking for a new vendor. Get out to fastenersclearinghouse.com. The network continues to grow all the time.
Right. We just added a couple of new pages that relating to British threads, actually. I mean, now this may be surprising to most of our members, and it was surprising to me, but there is a continuing demand for British threads, be they British pipe threads, BSP, or the venerable old Whitworth, developed during the Industrial Revolution in the 1850s, still in use.
And what are the applications for that, Bray?
Well, I was talking to Mark Benedict from British Metrics, okay, and I said, so he saw most of my business is selling British threads. And I was saying, so what earthly thing could possibly use a Whitworth thread in the year 2018? He said, try one of the external radar units on the SpaceX rocket. Okay?
What?
Yes, I know. Whitworth thread. You think, what on earth is a Whitworth thread in use there? And in numerous other places.
Now, did he give you an explanation for why that would be?
No. I'm sure I didn't really ask him. He gave me a whole lot of other examples. he reminded me that for a lot of the things which are exported from the US require non-US threads, and reminded me that the threads relating to the piping in German cars is British standard pipe thread. It is not a metric thread at all. And Cadillacs exported out of the US have British standard pipe threads on them as well.
Okay, you've convinced me they're in use in a lot of places where you wouldn't think.
I know, it sounds so weird to me, but
yeah,
it is strange. So I've got these new pages on British standard, fine British standard Whitworth threads, and I haven't made my one on BSP yet, but I will.
There you go, folks. If you're a zygologist, you'll especially like FCH, but if you're anybody who needs to find a hard-to-find fastener, get out to www.fastenersclearinghouse.com. And if you haven't been listing your inventory out here yet, if you haven't been participating in the network on the receiving side, that is receiving inquiries, give us a call, because a lot of the value of being a part of the network comes from picking up new clients, and it happens all the time, every day.
Right, and that can come from things as simply as a person finding a listing that is yours, even if that's not the listing they really want, and calling you to see if you can also supply something else.
Happens every day. Of course, our work through FCH brings this podcast to you, folks. And another service that we provide to the industry, we have been for the last, 5 years, is the scholarship that we offer each year in partnership with the Fastener Training Institute. This year, once again, we'll be providing a full scholarship to one deserving individual, and 4 runners-up will also receive partial tuition, plus some other things that the FTI will be announcing soon, all in conjunction with this scholarship program. And as in the past, Bri, everyone who enters will receive a voucher for a complimentary webinar to an FTI session, so there are really no losers. There's no reason not to get your name in. All it takes is a 300-word, thereabouts essay. The deadline for this will be September 30th, 2018. More details will be coming, and they are also available on the fastenersclearinghouse.com website on the news page, as well as other places.
And we have 2 very critical judges, I might say, Sue and Lynn, and so the judging's totally blind because Eric removes the names of any companies off them, so they just analyze the essay based on what the person aspires to do, why this is an aspiration, it's such a good thing to do.
That's right. And you'll hear all about that process during this segment, which I guess we should cue up here, Bri, because the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey is one of our 2 judges on these essays. And she sat down recently and spoke with Shenice Peterson from Empire Bolt and Michael Shibasaki from Fuller Metric. They were our 2016 and 2017 overall winners. They went through the Certified Fastener Specialist test at the end of their class, and they both got their certification. And we figured we'd play this as we announce this year's scholarship program to get a little excitement. And if you're a business owner or a manager and you have someone on your team that is a likely candidate, I think you'll find this interview very interesting.
And the whole process is really, really worth following up with, okay? Can't lose.
Well, let's fire that up right now.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. This is Lynn Dempsey, and I want to talk to you about FCH Sourcing Network Scholarship in partnership with the Fastener Training Institute. The grand prize is attending the Fastener Training Week. I would love to have a record number of essay applicants, and this will be our 5th year offering the scholarship. And to help me convince you to send in an essay are our 2016 winner, Shenice Peterson from Empire Bolt and Screw, and our 2017 winner, Michael Shibasaki from Fuller Metric. Hello, you 2.
Good morning.
Hi.
Thank you, Shenice and Michael, for joining me today. And please thank your bosses, Ron Stanley and Jennifer Harder over at Empire, and Hans Fuller over there at Metric Fuller, for letting you take the time. First, I want to walk through the essay process and the selection process, and then I'm going to ask you 2 about Fastener Training Week. All right? So the process. You have to be in the fastener industry. You have to submit a 300-word essay writing about the importance of training in the fastener industry and the impact of training on your career. And the winners are announced at the Vegas show. How we pick our winners? Well, the essays go through Eric first, and Eric redacts all the candidates and company names and assigns a number. And then he sends them, the bunch of them, to each of us, Sue Rice and myself, and we look at them. And they look like FBI documents. They're all redacted and everything. We feel very official. Sue Rice and I read all the essays independently, and then we select our favorite 10. And then we compare our favorite 10 list, and those who make both our list are our qualifying finalists. And from that, we select 5. And then we reread, and then we select out of those 5 our top 1, and then the 4 runners-up. It's not always easy. Sue and I come from different professional backgrounds, and sometimes we have some very good debates about our choices. But we always seem to come to a consensus, and we don't have to bring in the big guns, Eric or Brian, to do the final. So Shenice and Michael, that is how you won the top prize in 2016 and 2017. So what I would like to know is, Shenice, tell me, how long have you been in the fastener industry, and what do you do for Empire?
At the time of the application, I had been here about 2.5 years. Currently, I'm pushing 4 years. I'm currently in operations in our VMI services, but that will soon be changing about June 1st to warehouse manager.
Ah,
so that's
good. Yeah.
My title currently is kind of limiting. I do a little bit of everything here. I'm also in purchasing. I'm in backup sales. I back up the warehouse a little bit right now. I do a little bit of our tech work, so I'm kind of a jack of all trades right now.
Yeah, I find that in the fastener industry, everyone seems to have their fingers in all,
Right.
all around, which is good overall training. Michael, how about you? How long at Fuller?
I've been in the industry and at Fuller for almost 24 years now. I actually started off, this was a temporary job originally. I started off in the warehouse packaging. Moved my way up through sales, purchasing some of the operations, and I'm currently managing our ISO 9000 quality processes.
Ah, very good. So you're in quality manager. All right, which is great. 2 different departments there. So, Shenice, tell me about your motivation for applying for the scholarship.
I had a couple different things motivating me. I really like to learn the technical side of things. But more importantly, I really wanted to just be a better asset to my employer. And this training really allowed me to do that and expand and move up in this industry and within this company.
Oh, super. Michael, how about yours?
I just wanted to, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I'm same as Shenice, I just wanted to kind of improve my skills and provide more value for the company. And I've found that over the years, I've learned a lot on a piecemeal basis. So a customer will phone you with a specific question and you have to look it up. But I was looking for something kind of to take me from all the way from 1 to 10 in a kind of a more orderly manner than just figuring out, figure out information when I needed it.
Okay.
So it was like, I wanted like a really organized training from top to bottom.
All right, super. How long did it take you guys to write your essays?
Oh, I was always a really, I suppose, good essay writer in high school, so I don't think it took me more than an hour really from start to finish. And I think the most important thing is just nailing on the topics that the essay requires you to have in it, the importance of the training and the impact the training is going to give you. So it's really not that complicated. A lot of people, I think, tend to overthink essays in general.
Okay. Mike, how about you?
And yeah, I agree with Shenice. It's not that complicated. It was kind of figuring out what subjects to cover in the essay. It took me about 2 to 3 hours over maybe 5-6 days. So basically just kind of thinking it down. And mostly it was making it shorter, really condensing it, making it as clear as possible.
Okay. And you guys both did a great job. And see, listeners, get your people in here. It doesn't take a long time to write an essay. So you finally make it to Fastener Training Week. And Shenice, how many people in your class?
We had 13 in my class.
Okay. Michael?
I think it was around 14 to 16.
Okay. Was that a good number for what you guys were learning? Was it too big, too small, just right?
I think it was about perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a good number on my side as well. I think like the Fastener Training Institute does a really great job of just the way they set up the classroom, and I really like the 2-instructor format in my session.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. Now, did either one of you think during the Fastener Week, what the hell am I doing here? What was I thinking? Did you ever feel that way? Did you ever think I'm drowning here? I'm over my head?
My side, it was definitely a lot of information, but they did a very good job of organizing it. So from the time you walk in, I mean, they have all the textbooks and teaching materials laid out. So all you have to do is go there and work on learning. Again, I really like the 2-instructor system. I think it kept things flowing. They did lots of breaks, like they understood the adult learners. And just I found the pace of the class very, very good.
Shenice, how about you? Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I'd agree. It can feel like you're drowning, but yeah, like you said, both 2 instructors, having them switch off, I think was really helpful. They also keep you fed really well. There's snacks throughout the day to keep your mind going and everything.
Yeah.
So
keep the sugar level up. Yeah.
Right. And like Michael was saying, they have a great textbook that you get to bring home with you, or a binder actually. And so just following along in there and being able to take your own notes, I found really helpful for me, especially going back towards the end when taking the test. So to be able to reference those things.
Okay. Now, what was your favorite subject or your favorite session?
I prefer the hands-on learning. So when we were breaking bolts and things of that nature, that's what I enjoyed most, and that's how I learned the best. So,
Michael, how about you?
Similar for me. I liked the practical. We had a lot of the different measuring machines, and then the torque testing machines. I also really liked the factory tour day. I found that very useful, just to go into a factory, see the manufacturing side, see some of the quality testing side, which obviously is my area, so I found that interesting. And then the aftermarket, like the pelleting and patching, I found it interesting to tour those factories.
Oh, that's great. So now FDI describes their Fastener Training Week program as advanced, intense, and taught by recognized industry specialists, not just general facts, the technical facts. Would you both say that was true?
I would definitely say that's true, yes.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, the quality of the instructor is very high, like all industry experts. And one of my favorite things was, like, they're always learning from each other, too. So at first I wasn't sure if they were just asking questions to kind of get us to think, but in a lot of cases they were just asking questions from each other because they were really, really interested in what their colleagues were saying.
Well, that's super. I mean, it is lifelong learning. That's what we're supposed to be striving for. So tell me about the test. Is it multiple choice? Is it timed? Is it open book?
The test is multiple choice and open book. There's no trick questions, but it definitely makes you think. I think on my side it took about 2 hours before I finished it. Part of that's just because I like to, I'm a little bit kind of picky about that, and I wanted to obviously get a good score. But I think it does a really good job of testing you on your material, and even more importantly, I found one of the most important things, takeaways from this class was how to find certain information. So how to look up different references and where to look up information.
Shenice, how long before you get your results? Do you get it right away, or do you have to wait?
I don't think it was more than a week for mine. It was a long time ago, but yeah, I don't think it was too long to get results. And I too spent about 3 hours on the test, and I kind of split it up throughout a whole week, so I wasn't just book cramming and for 6 or 3 hours a day. Yeah, it definitely makes you think, and reference the notes that you can take during the class. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's exciting when the test mirrors what you were talking about and stuff, and you think back, on day one they talked about this. So, Michael, what was your personal return on investment for doing the essay and the training week?
Just obviously all the information, just meeting a lot of the people in the industry, so even talking to yourself and Eric and Brian, and it's interesting. I've been in the industry for a long time, and just it's nice getting more involved in the industry and learning more about it from the inside, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it does. Shenice, how about Empire's return on investment?
My return on investment, like I had stated in my essay, that I wanted these tools to help me, expand my knowledge and help me excel my career. And that's exactly what it's done. And I've referenced actually the giant binder that you get to bring home multiple times, and I've loaned it out to other people within the company that, have technical questions. And I'm like, oh yeah, all of that information is right here. Feel free to read through this stuff. And so I really just think the knowledge that you come back with is really kind of priceless. So
great.
That's been my return.
That's great. Now, last question, and then I'm going to thank you and let you go. All right, I'd like to know, where are those very cool FTI certified specialized plaques? Specialist plaques.
Right on my desk next to my monitor.
Right. Michael, how about yours?
Yeah, same. They do. I think the plaque is a good indication of the way the Fastener Training Institute does things. They don't cut corners. Like, everything is very, very nice.
Oh, super. All right. I want to thank you two for taking the time, and please again thank your bosses there for letting you take the time. And any last comments to make people apply for the scholarship? What would you suggest?
There's only, I would say, there's not going to be nothing bad is going to come from applying. The least that's going to happen is you don't win, but there's always the opportunity that you could.
Right. Well, that's true. And
I totally agree with Shenice.
And everybody comes away with a winner because you get the webinar if you apply. So apply, everybody. All right. Thank you for joining me. And anyone wanting more information about the scholarship for this year, please go to Fasteners with an S, and the S stands for Scholarship, clearinghouse.com, and then click on the News tab. Thank you all.
Coming to you across the vast audio radiance of the internet, it's the voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. Fully Threaded Radio.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
BTM Manufacturing is a domestic ISO 9001 manufacturer of threaded fasteners and bent wire products. From anchor bolts to studs to U-bolts, BTM is committed to making your per print special with the highest quality standards while meeting your on-time delivery schedule. Since BTM began in 1961, this family-owned business has remained focused on providing exceptional service to their customers. Centrally located in Kansas City, Missouri, BTM recently expanded into a 100,000 square foot facility, which allows for the production and manufacture of many projects simultaneously, both large and small quantity. BTM's website at btm-mfg.com allows you to submit custom quotes quickly and easily, and once you do, a BTM team member will contact you as soon as possible to discuss your needs. Are you ready to get started? BTM is. Visit www.btm-mfg.com today.
Cardinal Fastener is your source for high-quality made-in-the-USA bolts, from 3/8 inch up to 4.5 inch diameter. We can forge a wide variety of materials, including carbon steels, alloys, high nickel alloys, and stainless. And our in-house tooling center, heat treat equipment, and A2LA quality labs give us total control over every part we produce for faster lead times and superior quality.
Call 844-CNL-BOLT for a fast, competitive quote. And remember, if it's critical, it's Cardinal.
My customer sent me a print for a bolt specifically for the machine in his shop, but we can't make it.
Solution Man can. Provide me with a print, and my superhuman CNC machining team will custom make it for you faster than a manufacturer's rep drinking at an open bar. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Wow, that is fast.
So are you at the Distributive Social, huh?
Hi, this is Aaron Shushan with Specialty Sales. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, Bright, tariffs have been in the news for the past several weeks since they were announced, steel and aluminum, and then the addition of a whole list of finished goods, which included some imported nuts, too.
Right.
And that all seems to be in question now after this weekend's headlines, at least as far as the steel tariffs pertaining to China.
And it was clear from our talking to people at the social in Cleveland last week that there's as many confused people as there are people who understand. Actually, probably more confused people. So all this has done is stirred up the rather muddy waters already.
Right. Well, I bring it up in part because we have the Fastener News Report coming up in a moment, and Marc Strandquist and Mike McNulty will mention the tariffs a little bit in their coverage of the FDI, and then later on in the podcast, Mike McGuire also mentions it. And Mike McGuire's interview we recorded before this weekend's announcement about holding off on the tariffs. And there's all kinds of things you could say about it, but I think overall what you said is correct. People are just confused and nobody really has the real story. So we're all going to just sit back and watch and not make too many comments on it, other than we're all confused.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Philosophically, you could claim tariffs are not good, but I'm sure there's people who benefit from them. And my personal view is I think the whole idea of putting them on hold is a great idea. And I think Trump is working on other ways of getting the same thing out of the Chinese anyway.
Well, we've bounced that ball back and forth over and over, and it'll continue bouncing, no doubt about that. I don't know if this podcast is the right format for doing that some more, but one observation that I would make is we've still got a situation in North Korea that's brewing. And I really wonder how much of this, even from the get-go, was posturing to get some kind of advantage in negotiations there. I really do. And again, there's an area that we'll probably not really understand clearly.
For a long time.
Yeah. As mentioned, the Fastener News Report is coming up in a few moments, folks, with Mike McNulty. That's brought to us today by Volt Industrial Plastics.
Makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
That's them, Brian.
It is. Yeah, I remember.
FTR advertising works.
Yeah, I remember it.
And just before we get to that, I have a little news item that I'll throw out, and that involves a topic almost as near and dear to many fastener industry professionals' hearts as tariffs, and that would be fastener golf.
Right, you're way above my head already, okay?
I said many, Brian, not all.
Okay, just as well.
The biennial Mel Kirsner Memorial Golf Tournament was held recently, May 18th to be precise. And in the winner's circle this time, this is getting a little boring, actually, Brian, because it seems like we've heard these names many years in the past as well. Do you have any guesses?
Golf's not my specialty, incidentally, but maybe Joe Truckey's somewhere there.
You might not play golf, but you know fastener golf, and you are 100% correct. Joe Truckey and his bionic knees, along with his brother Bob, both from Cal Fasteners.
Yeah.
Rob Reynolds from InSequel Software. He's one of the big guns on the scene. And fastener bigwig emeritus, Bob Porteous, turned out for the event.
Oh. Cool.
That foursome dominated the field and took home the prize of this year's Mel Kirsner Memorial Golf Tournament.
So they did not win a carton of Busch Light then, I can tell.
That unceremonious prize this year, Bri, the FTR Award, which included a 30-pack of delicious frosty Busch Light beer and an attractive, fully threaded radio golf hat, went to Mr. John Walkman of Desert Distribution. Congratulations, John.
Yeah, great, thanks. Enjoy.
I'm sure he already did. We'll have to talk to Joe and see if he turned up for work today, but my guess is he did. He's a very responsible golfer.
I was thinking more of John Walkman if he were sitting on his horse riding along with a can of beer, in his hat. I just imagine that.
Yeah, that might actually still be legal in Arizona. Kind of a constitutional state in a lot of ways. They had about 50 golfers that turned out for the event this year, and because lots of raffle tickets were sold, the Pac West was able to donate $1,000 to the Terry Campus of Life, which helps children and adults touched by special needs. So,
wow, cool, good.
Good fun, good cause.
And so they didn't really need me there after all. Thank God for that.
Now, don't fret, everyone, if you're a little disappointed that you didn't take home the FTR prize. You'll get another chance coming up June 5th if you're in the Chicago area, or if you're not, you should head there. But the MWFA has their 66th annual golf outing taking place then. That's Tuesday, June 5th, the day after the big tabletop show. Get out to MWFA.net for all the details there.
Right.
It's another chance for you not to play, Brian.
I know, yeah. But we will be at the tabletop, though, okay, so we'll get to see plenty of our customers and prospectives. That's good.
Look forward to seeing everybody at the MWFA tabletop. That is true, Bri. But now...
for news about screws that you can use.
Exactly. It's Mike McNulty.
Right.
Thanks, Eric and Brian. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. It's good to be back on Fully Threaded Radio after several weeks of industry trade show travel, but I am still focused on fasteners and ready to deliver today's Fastener News Report. In this episode, we're going to reveal the latest results of the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have our top story on 2 fastener shows and newsmaker headlines from Ramco, KLX, MSC, Centennial Bolt, the Würth Group, Lindstrom, Innovative Components, and many more. On the back page report, we're going to talk about USA state GDPs. We will get to all of that and the latest FDI results right after this.
Whether you need a small or large number of fasteners, there is no reason why you should have to sacrifice quality or service for that matter. Volt Industrial Plastics takes great care with each and every order to ensure you receive a quality fastener in a timely and affordable manner. Our state-of-the-art production equipment allows us to produce any quantity you request quickly and efficiently. And with same-day shipping on nearly 1 million in-stock fasteners, we carry an inventory so you don't have to. Visit us online at voltplastics.com to find out more about our quality American-made products. Volt Industrial Plastics, manufacturer of the finest plastic fasteners in the world.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
This is Paula Evans, MWFA Fastener Show Chairman, inviting you to join us June 4th for our 37th Annual Fastener Show. This year's show will be at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove, Illinois. This event is produced by the fastener industry for the fastener industry. Its success returns to the industry through scholarships, education, and informative programs. Also join us for the largest fastener industry golf outing the following day. More details of these events can be found at mwfa.net. Hope to see you there.
Back to the Fastener News Report with Mike McNulty.
The seasonally adjusted FDI for April 2018 was 57.4, down modestly from March's 59.5, but still settled nicely in the FDI expansion territory. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by the FCH Sourcing Network, the National Fastener Distributors Association, and Baird. The FDI seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get some insight on these results, we talked to Marc Strandquist, Executive Vice President of the Würth Group and the NFDA's immediate past president. Hi, Marc. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you very much.
Glad to have you back on the show. So what do you think about the April FDI results?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised as much. Currently, we're seeing a lot of positive fundamentals, but at the same time, there's a lot of indecision out there. So, I think what we're seeing right now is more reflective of confidence and, where we're going. I think, there's so many positive things that could be happening that aren't, that I think would further build on the economy and help things get better. There's positive trends all over. As we talked about before, unemployment is dropping in all areas of the country, and we're seeing a lot of positives from that. And, it's just, I think the indecision that's, like as an example, the infrastructure bill. No dialogue is going on with that right now. And that is would be a huge accelerator for the economy and in terms of consuming our products. And that's just not happening. And so I think there's just indecision still, but everybody's still positive and upbeat, and they see some real good fundamentals out there. But I do think that we're still struggling to get a firm, positive, continual, footing on what's happening.
Yeah, and I think also some of the tariffs or worries about tariffs took a little bit of wind out of the sails this time around, but those don't seem to really be amounting to anything. But I think that might have had an impact on the slight dip this time around. But still, 57 is still in the very positive expansion area.
So it is, and I think you're spot on with this tariff comment. In that, as an example, our company is headquartered and owned in Germany, and I frequently get the question, what's going to happen, what's going to happen? And, of course, anybody that knows the situation, it's totally unpredictable. And so that feeds this indecision and where we're at, and that, because most of the time these positions that our federal government takes is to establish a negotiating position, and we're willing to make changes, so it's unpredictable. And so when someone in Europe asks me, well, what's going to happen with the steel tariffs, or what's going to happen with these overall tariffs, who knows? That's what causes people to take pause. And, because as an example, if you have a particular product that you want to import from China that could be qualified for a 25% tariff, do you buy a bunch right now that you don't really need and take the lower cost product and take the business risk and load up on inventory, because down the road there's going to be a much higher tariff potentially? And so those are the types of things that a lot of people are making decisions on, do I take the risk, do I not take the risk, and can I afford to invest in that type of thing? So those are some examples of, with our products, what might occur is what do you buy now, and do you load up on inventory and try and gamble in terms of what's going to happen down the road? And we just don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It's a gamble because, these things, something will get said that, this might happen, and then it gets reported as that it did happen, and it's the end of the world by the 24-hour news cycle. It says it's the end of the world, but nothing's really happened, and then it gets reported, well, no tariffs or exemptions and so on and so forth. So my take is you just keep going forward until something actually happens rather than it might happening. But I think it did have a little bit of impact. Getting deeper into some of the numbers, we saw that the forward-looking indicator also dipped very slightly down to 58.9, and then we also had sales and employment numbers ticked down a little bit too. But we saw the number that jumped out to me, the year-on-year pricing number hit a new high of 89.1. So those numbers tell you anything too, or just more of the same?
I think the April numbers reflected this threat of a trade war, with China.
Yeah.
Now, there's talk that maybe there won't be one. And so I'll be really curious to see the May and the June results to see what, this dialogue with the Chinese is going to bring from it in terms of what's occurring. And then, the benefit is, according to the last couple of days, there could be an agreement where they're going to take a lot more of our agriculture products and other types of things like, Boeing and Caterpillar and people like that, that export into China quite often. So, if there's a $200 billion benefit, I'd be really curious to see what the impact might be with that as well. So that's all part of the ebb and flow of what's going on, in D.C. right now.
Right, and like you say, in negotiation positions. And I think, the stock market was going up like gangbusters, then it took a little bit of a correction. Now it's starting to rise again, so maybe the storm is settling down here.
Yeah, let's hope so. We all want stability.
Yeah, and if you look at the 6-month outlook on the report from Baird, again, that's really good. If you take the people expecting better or same 6 months from now, it's like 97%. So still pretty bullish on what's going on in this long-term expansion we're riding.
Yeah, we're due, and I think, like all business cycles, things go up and down. But I think, over the last 8-9 years, we were creeping forward. There was some positive expansion. It was barely, it was very anemic. So there's a lot of pent-up demand out there.
Right.
And we can still ride an extended expansion cycle in a lot of different markets. So
yeah, you got corporate tax breaks too. So there's some more money on the table.
That's another thing that we're not even talking about as much. Yeah, I mean, because regardless of how the companies spend their money, there was a recent article. They talk, with these tax breaks, a lot of these big publicly traded companies are buying back stock, but that still benefits. I mean, that the shareholder and the people that sell the stocks and the shareholders to get more, that they decide to sell it and they make all this money and then they go invest it somewhere else. So there's always nothing but upside, how they're spending the money. It's just, it's not as direct as wages. Wages are an immediate paycheck every Friday or every other Friday, and then the consumer can go out and spend his money. But stocks are the same way, because remember, the stocks are being bought by teachers' pensions. They're being bought, by college institutions and their foundations and police pensions. And so, everybody wins still, and that it's not something that's vague. It's not as good as a wage. There's no question, where someone cashing a check and going out and buying a car or buying a whatever, makes them happy. So, I mean, that's still something that's out there.
Okay, well, let's move on to the comments. There was 2 categories that people commented on. One was good sales results, and the other was tariff worries. So the comments are just kind of reflecting what we're talking about, but I'll go over them here. One person said that April 2018 was up over 15% compared to April of a year ago, 2017. Another said January, April 2018 sales were up over 9% compared to the same range last year. Another person said sales are brisk, having a great year. And then on the tariff side, we had 2 comments. One was federal government activities with tariffs are a big concern and can cause things to get worse. And everyone is worried about how the tariffs on nuts are going to affect costs and sale prices. So 2 sides of the coin. We got sales are going good, and we're worried about tariffs. So I think if they can settle that down and negotiate some good trade opportunities, that would be that. I mean, in theory, if tariffs, you negotiate and everybody either drops them on both sides rather than raising them, then the result is more business activity, in my opinion. Anything else that you want to add in terms of these comments on sales and tariffs? Things going on with Würth Group? I know you guys are doing business all over the world.
Yeah. No, we're seeing similar results. We're very, since October of last year, we've had double-digit growth every month except for December. And April, we were very fortunate, to have a positive 17% year-over-year growth.
Yeah, that's great.
Here in the U.S. And so I'm proud of that. A lot of people within the team did a lot of hard work to get there. And, hopefully we're building some momentum that's sustainable. So I think that's out there, and I think that the opportunities are there, and it should stay this way for a while.
Well, double-digit growth, that's pretty easy to report. Okay. Yeah, on the let's switch over. Let's close up with the over on the association side. I know you're still involved with the NFDA, and you guys got some activities coming up. I think there's some executive planning sessions coming up in the month of June.
Correct. Yeah, early June, the 5th and the 6th is going to be in Chicago, and it's a unique conference where we schedule executives of the distribution companies with executives of the suppliers and our associates, and opportunities to talk about strategy and where we're going and where we can help each other, and it gives people some quality time that all in one place. So being able to meet with 5 or 6 suppliers, during the same day instead of traveling creates a huge benefit. It's not our first time we've done it, and it's very, very popular amongst our members. And so if you're a member and you haven't signed up, I encourage you to participate. And if you're a supplier, I encourage you to participate and find a way to get access to a very nice, large supply base.
And Chicago's a great location right in the heart of the fastener industry, so that should be a good turnout, a good opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, well, I love Chicago. It's a great town.
Is it in downtown or in one of the suburb areas?
It's downtown.
Okay, that's even better. All right. Well, once again, I want to thank you, Mark, for joining us and bringing your perspective to the Fastener Distributor Index, and look forward to talking to you down the road. Maybe some of this pent-up demand will become a reality, and we'll be talking about the FDI closing in on 70 or something.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Yep. Have a great day.
That was Marc Strandquist, Executive Vice President of the Würth Group and past President of the NFDA. The FDI number for April was 57.4. Visit FDIsurvey.com to participate in the process and to get your own detailed PDF copy of Baird's monthly analysis on the Fastener Distributor Index. Now for today's top story. Last month, I attended 2 fastener industry trade shows, and I was very impressed with the business and technology activity in the Fastener Hall at the Wire 2018 Trade Fair in Dusseldorf, Germany, as well as the first ever Fastener Fair USA in Cleveland, Ohio. Both events had excellent exhibits and content, as well as solid visitor traffic. The former featured the world's best collection of fastener-making machinery, materials, and accessories, in my opinion, and the latter was Mack Brooks' first USA staging of its successful regional and international Fastener Fair exhibitions for the full fastener and fixing supply chain. There was tremendous value in attending and or exhibiting at both trade fairs, and thousands of attendees and hundreds of exhibitors were on hand for each one. The June-July 2018 issue of Fastener Technology International magazine contains multi-page reports on each event, including loads of facts, images, and news. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. In acquisition, expansion, and investment news, Ramco Specialties Incorporated has acquired Kappa Tool Incorporated. Boeing has entered into a definitive agreement to acquire KLX Incorporated. MCS Industrial Supply Company has acquired All Integrated Solutions, also known as AIS. Endries International has acquired Branham Fastening Systems. Fastener Distribution Holdings has acquired Blue Sky Industries. MW Industries has acquired Lavezzi Precision Incorporated. And Centennial Bolt is planning to build a new plant in a Midwest USA location. In personnel news, Juliana Arago in Brazil was welcomed as the 75,000th employee of the Würth Group worldwide. Frederick Mueller has been appointed the new CEO of the Nordlock Group. Acme Industrial Company, a subsidiary of Juergens Incorporated, has promoted George Margalos to general manager. Lars Johnson has been appointed the new employee representative to the Bolton AB board. Innovative Components Incorporated has added Alyssa Oversat to its marketing team, and Lindstrom has promoted Bernie Logan and Rick English to Regional Vice President Sales, and it has promoted John Newman to Vice President Purchasing and Quality, and Randy Herdlicka to Purchasing Manager. You can get details on all of these stories and more in Fastener Technology International magazine and the Fastener News Report newsletter, which is available in print, PDF, and flipbook editions by visiting fastenertech.com. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about USA state GDPs. I have been known to be critical of domestic policies in the USA, so sometimes it's easy for me to forget about the awesome economic power and free market-driven success of the United States. I was reminded of this by a recent article and graphic put together by the folks at the American Enterprise Institute, also known as AEI, and available at www.aei.org, citing that it is difficult to even comprehend how large the U.S. economy is. AEI put together a map to put America's annual GDP of $19.4 trillion into perspective by comparing the economic size of individual USA state GDPs to other countries' national output. The results are impressive as well as a bit amusing. Here are some examples. America's largest state economy is California, which produced more than the United Kingdom, even with a much smaller labor force. California also beat out India and France head-to-head. America's second largest state economy, Texas, produced more than Canada, even with 6.5 million fewer workers. Saudi Arabia's GDP in 2017 was less than Pennsylvania and Illinois, individually, not combined. New York produced slightly more economic output last year than South Korea, Russia, and Australia. Florida produced almost the same amount of GDP last year as Indonesia, which has 10 times as many people. And for the fastener-rich states, Ohio was equal to Argentina, Michigan to Austria, Illinois to the Netherlands, and Indiana to the United Arab Emirates. Overall, the U.S. produced over 24% of the world GDP in 2017, with only about 4% of the world's population. 3 of America's states, California, Texas, and New York, if they were separate countries, would have ranked among the top 11 economies in the world. And here's the closing line of the article, quote, "So let's not lose sight of how ridiculously large and powerful the U.S. economy is and how much wealth, output, and prosperity are being created every day in the largest economic engine there has ever been in human history." End quote. This has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International Magazine, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Please send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at mcnulty@fastenertech.com.
Feeling a little screwed up lately? Better go see the zygologist. And when we return, the doctor will be in when Mike McGuire joins us on Fully Threaded. When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
Since 1905, Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company have been supplying the world with high-quality fasteners. Our standard product lines include weld fasteners, braided weld screws, leg levelers, self-clinching hardware, clevis pins, rivet nuts, and various other fastener lines, allowing us to support virtually all types of industries. We have complete custom manufacturing capabilities in low carbon, medium carbon, and stainless steel materials, and our quality systems are registered to ISO standards. Our on-staff engineering department can assist you with product development and provide total technical support. Our knowledgeable sales team members offer superior customer service and are here to answer any questions you may have regarding our products. Having a hard time finding a part? Let our sourcing specialists do the work for you to locate those items. We offer competitive pricing with typically smaller minimums and shorter lead times. To find out more about Buckeye Fasteners, please call us at 800-437-1689 or on the web at buckeyefasteners.com. Buckeye Fasteners, more than just weld.
In this economy, I need to cut cost and freight, or I'll lose my customer.
Solution Man, Ken. The more you order, the more you'll save. With free freight on orders over $1,000. See the Solution Industries website for details at solutionIND.com.
Solution Man, you're my fastener hero.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Well, hi, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Fastener Training Minute, brought to you by the Fastener Training Institute and from the Carver Fact Center, Fastening Applications Consulting and Training here in San Diego, California. Today's topic is fastener manufacturers' identification markings on fasteners. Which ones require them? How do you know who is who? What kind of resources are available for knowing who is who? And where do we usually mess up with this topic? So come back in a few minutes, and some of these resources, you might want to write them down. So have a pencil available when you come back, and we'll talk about fastener manufacturers' head marks.
Thanks, Carmen. This is Joe Morris with the Fastener Training Institute. Summer may be approaching, but don't take time off from investing in yourself or in your employees. This is a great time for fastener training. On May 29th at National University in Costa Mesa, California, FTI will begin Part 1 of our 3-day product training program. The product training program was designed to teach employees in the fastener industry about the products they buy, sell, and warehouse. While it's intended for people new to the industry, it is extremely beneficial for everyone who wants to expand their fastener knowledge. The classes will be offered several times throughout the year and do not need to be taken in order. Each one is extremely beneficial on its own. Part 2 will be presented on June 26th and Part 3 on July 24th. I want to quickly mention while you're making some summer plans that FTI is bringing a new class to Denver, Colorado. I'm fast forwarding now to July 12th when we will be presenting Why Fasteners Fail. This is a full-day workshop instructed by industry leader Lawrence Klaus. Using real-world examples of fastener failures, this workshop will explore how threaded fasteners are supposed to function and why they fail. This workshop is designed for anyone, new or well-established in the industry. For more information about all of our classes, please visit our website at www.fastenertraining.org. Now, back to Carmen for our Fastener Training Minute.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute, and today we're talking about fastener manufacturers' head marks or identification marks. Not a lot to know about this topic, but it is a very important one. One of the questions that I ask in our CFS class to our new students is I'll say, do you agree or disagree that fastener head markings are a reliable indicator of the quality and traceability of the fastener? And sometimes they agree and sometimes they disagree, but generally you should know that the head marking on a fastener is very, very important, both in terms of the grade or property class, which we're not going to talk about, and the manufacturer. That manufacturer's head mark is crucial to lot traceability, which is a fundamental concept in fastener quality. So never ignore the fastener identification mark. So how do we know what that little letter means, the little N for Nucor or the triangle for Enfasco or those marks? How do we know whose is whose? Well, there are two main resources I want to call to your attention. The first one is the Patent and Trademark Office. And the Patent and Trademark Office first began registering trademarks when the Fastener Quality Act came about in the 1990s. And they have a very good website. If you want to go to it, just Google PTO Fastener Marks, and you will immediately be able to quickly download their PDF document on fastener insignia. It's called the Fastener Insignia Register, Active Insignias, and the current version is January 16, 2018. Now, that document has two types of insignias. It has the official registered insignia, which is kind of a code. It consists of 4 digits or 4 characters, 2 numbers and 2 letters. And these are basically companies that register their trademark for the purpose of the Fastener Quality Act. It also registers their private label or their private mark, which is sort of like a symbol or a letter that would actually be something that means something. The N for Nucor, for example. The 4-digit number is just arbitrarily chosen. Well, it's not totally arbitrary. It's in order 01 something, 02 something, 2 numbers and a letter. So that's what we get from the Patent and Trademark Office. Totally free. You can download that quickly and easily by Googling PTO fastener head markings or identification mark. The other one is a government document called Mill Handbook 57G, G as in golf. And that is the military's official registration document for fastener head markings or identification markings. And if you just Google Mill Handbook 57G, you will find that one easily downloadable. And if you don't find it easily downloadable there, you can also get it by going to a website called Assist Quick Search. That's Assist Quick Search, and that's a government website for military documents which are not copyrighted. And you put in Mill Handbook 57G, MIL-HDBK-57G as in golf, and you can download that very large, expensive document. And it's got most of the common and some very uncommon fastener manufacturers' head marks in it. One of the questions we get often is, what if I want to register my trademark? Well, both of those documents, the one from the Patent and Trademark Office and the one from the government, Mill Handbook 57G, have a form that comes with them that lets you register your trademark. It doesn't cost very much. I think Mill Handbook 57G is free, but that one only gets updated every couple of years, and maybe the Patent and Trademark Office might charge a little bit of money, like $20 or something like that. So if you want to register your head mark, you can do that. What's required to be marked? Well, in both the inch and the metric or ISO world, any product that is larger than 1/4 of an inch or M6 and is heat treated and or is made out of stainless steel generally will require a fastener manufacturer's identification mark. There are a few exceptions to that. I'm not going to list them, but a generality holds true. So that's about all there is to know about head markings for fastener identification. But as a fastener professional, you should have those 2 documents on hand. They're easy to get. There are a couple of other things you can purchase, some other fastener head marking catalogs that you could get that are probably helpful to have. If you know of some, I would like to know about them. I have a collection of a few. One thing that we are missing that I think would be of great value for someone in the industry to come up with is a listing of fastener manufacturers' head marks that are not registered in either one of those 2 documents, the Patent and Trademark or Mill Handbook 57G. So we need to compile that because every now and then we run into a mark, you look at it, nobody knows whose it is, and we have trouble tracking it down. As a matter of fact, I just had a case like that today, and that's what made me decide to talk about this topic. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about the sources for fastener manufacturers' head marks and how to get your hands on the resources you need to get more information for that. And I want to thank you for listening to the Fastener Training Minute.
Hi, this is Nick from Cambridge, and I listen to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you, Fully Threaded. Hey, Brian, I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I had the chance to head out to Scottsdale, Arizona recently to take part in the Pac West Spring Conference, which was a fantastic event. One of the highlights for me was seeing a gentleman who's been on the podcast a couple times, though not for a while. Most of you know him or you know of him. He's a Hall of Famer in this fastener industry. He's Mike McGuire, and he's with us now. Hi, Mike. Welcome back to Fully Threaded.
Yeah, good evening. Good to talk with you.
Yeah, evening, right. Yeah, I come out here to, for a few days of rest and relaxation. Eric's got me up at 9:30 on Sunday working.
9:30 p.m. that is, Brian.
Right. Yeah, right. So, nearly as bad for you.
Well, it was great to see you out there, Mike, and I've been talking to you for, over 10 years, and I have to say I haven't never seen you look better. You look well-rested. You've kind of got that Russ Doran glow about you.
Well, I don't know about that. I have to brag a little bit here. I am doing Nutrisystems. Maybe there'll be an advertiser for you, but so far in 30 days, I've lost 20 pounds. So got to try to keep that up the rest of the summer.
Oh, well, thanks for keeping an eye out for us, watching out for us that way, but I didn't know that was your secret. I'm not surprised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, you do have to make sure you don't keep losing at that rate because you'll end up back at
Right.
nothing. Okay?
Yeah. Nope. I still got a ways to go.
Well, it was good to see you out at the PacWest conference, and of course that was for the big cocktail party, the reception, and you were rubbing elbows with some of your old friends in the industry. What kinds of things were you hearing out there? What was the general tenor?
Well, back then several people were talking about the 25% tariff on nuts, and they weren't sure how to react to it yet. And of course, the price of steel's gone up, and what's it going to do to the price of fasteners? I mean, yes, they're going to go up, but how much? And if they got a contract with fixed pricing, how they can figure out ways to protect themselves. Was kind of the two major concerns. But I think generally people are busy. They're looking for a good year. But yeah, very positive. I thought at the show.
Now, for some of our listeners who are newer to the industry, Mike is the previous publisher of American Fastener Journal, among other endeavors into the fastener industry. How long has it been since you sold that particular business, Mike?
That's been about 2.5 years ago. Just about the same time we sold. We sold it a little bit after we sold the Fastener Show. So yeah, about 2.5 years now, and I think Tom's done a nice job, and he's got some good articles and editorial, and I know he's happy with it and enjoying it, and I look forward to seeing him this fall out in Vegas.
Yeah, Tom Mazur's doing a great job with American Fastener Journal, Mike, and so you left it in really capable hands. Of course, he worked with you for a lot of years, didn't he?
Yeah, Tom was with me for about 20 years, and he knew the advertisers, and he knew several of the writers we had, and he's been able to continue to work with those people and the advertisers, and he's done a nice job in getting some new advertisers for it. There'll be the cover story in July-August issue for the Las Vegas show.
Now, hang on. What's going to be the cover story?
Well, it'll be Emerald about the Fastener Show in Las Vegas.
Oh, right.
I'm assuming he'll have a list of all the exhibitors and registration material and the schedule of events, and that, kind of thing.
Yeah, we certainly want to talk about the shows a little bit as we progress here, but before we get to that, now, what's your involvement then with the industry these days? I mean, obviously you were out there at the PacWest and you do talk with people here and there. I mean, are you still connecting with the industry on a fairly regular basis, or, what are you doing with yourself?
Well, pretty much. I do talk with them on time to time, occasionally, of course, and actually Tom Masser. I'm actually working on a project I started last July, which we hope to announce here in a few weeks. I did give Marty, I told Marty a little bit about it, and said he wanted the first exclusive, and I said I'll honor that. So he'll be around when we announce it, and hopefully you guys will catch on to it real quick and maybe have an opportunity to discuss it and talk about it.
Okay.
Does this have anything to do with the business card that you gave me, which says Zygology?
No, that's just for fun.
Are you a certified zygologist, Mike?
Anybody in the fastener business is.
Because I looked it up on Google, and I had two different meanings. One was someone who is knowledgeable about fasteners, and the other one was someone who is knowledgeable about fertilized eggs.
I didn't know that. I originally learned it from the sales rep at Southco years ago, and there actually is a company in Britain called Zygology.
Yeah, there is, absolutely.
Yeah. And but it had to do with the fasteners on an ox cart, I guess, on the yoke, where the ox was attached, if you will, or hooked up to the yoke to pull a wagon. So.
Okay. It's obscure but very unusual. Okay.
Yeah. So not a psychologist, but a psychologist.
Yeah, right.
Probably good to use in a bar. Who knows?
Yeah.
So again, that's Z as in zebra, Ygology, zygology, and you're saying that's the study of fasteners.
Right.
And fertilized eggs, according to you, Bry.
Yeah, yep. That I know nothing about.
Okay.
Yes, it's a never-ending series of controversies here on the podcast, as you know, Mike. So getting back then to this new thing that you have coming, so you're holding out. Let me get this straight. You're holding out on us on a story. See, I didn't know this was going to come up in the conversation. So what you're holding out on us is what you're saying.
Yeah, we're real close to announcing it, but like I said, I talked to Marty a month or so ago, and he asked, if he could, have an exclusive or first opportunity to announce it. I said, sure. So,
well, can you give us a hint? Even, I mean, is this a new business that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a new business venture,
and it's in the fastener, in the zygology industry.
In the zygology industry, yes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, we won't step any more on that, but we're, I guess, all gonna. We're setting you up for a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I know, but I think you'll like it and think it's pretty neat, and hopefully we can discuss it maybe on one of your podcasts later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll wait, right?
Yeah. We're close. We're close.
Well, let's get back to some of your other observations about the industry then. Sometimes guys, even if they are working on other endeavors, once they remove themselves from the industry a little bit, they find some freedom to comment, or maybe they just have a better perspective from a few steps away. What are you seeing in the industry that's kind of catching your attention these days?
Well, talking about the shows, and I think I did not go to the Cleveland show, but I think I kind of projected it would be a regional show, and I think that's what it was. And I think the industry wants, if you will, one, say, show a year, and then if they're in an area where they are a member of a regional fastener association, they'll support their tabletop show for their fundraising for scholarships. And going back when Jim and I first took the show to Las Vegas, then for 5 years we had 2 shows a year, and Vegas just kind of sabotaged the Columbus show, if you will, or we took it to the East Coast, we went to Orlando, we went to Baltimore, and so after 5 years, we realized we just need one annual national show, and I think that's what the industry wants. One thing I'm kind of surprised about it, I guess I'm a little bit of a numbers man, but if you take all the components and all the products, fasteners represent about 2% of the cost, but it costs 4 times as much to install the fasteners. And maybe agree or disagree, but I think a lot of fastener buyers, it's an entry-level job or it's a junior buyer job. And then the younger purchasing is working his way up in his career, and he'll go to a fastener, say, to start, but then later on he'll be buying steel or glass or electronics or, more expensive items. And why people think that a lot of OEMs would send their buyers to a show, I don't understand, because if it was a bigger part of their cost of what they're buying, yeah, you might get some savings, but what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with that? Or?
Well, I think I know what you're saying sounds completely logical, but, we're talking really about the Cleveland show, and I mean, that's the format they run. They run that format in Germany and in Mexico. In those countries it works, right, even though it doesn't make, as you were talking about, it doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense to them over there. So maybe the US we know it's different in the structure, but
sure. I think we have a much bigger distribution industry, and people got to go back 10 or 12 years ago when Max Brooks started. It really was to bring the Taiwanese and Chinese into Stuttgart for the German automobile manufacturers, and that worked. That theme worked for them, but that theme doesn't work here in the United States.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's why we're asking, actually.
Yeah. No, and I think it's a little disrespectful. I guess next year the show's in Detroit, And it's either 2 weeks or 2 weeks after the Chicago show, and again, you're asking people to go to, say, the 2 shows in 2 weeks. And the other thing is that people are busy.
Yeah, no, true. That's true.
Yeah. And there's an expense to it. But probably more critical, it's time. I mean, time is money, and to ask these people to take more time away from their business, and they may not see that many new or different exhibitors.
No, I mean, it's true. You have to work out which show you're going to go to. And, Eric and I work out how we cover these different shows, because there's enough of them that you can't, if you went to every show, you'd never make any money because you'd be away all the time.
Right.
Well, we've been having this conversation in various forms over and over lately, and I keep coming back to the comment that the market will speak. Next year's going to be a little tumultuous, but somebody's going to get shaken out. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, Heidi, Voltaire tried to have a show in down in Missouri, or I forget where it was, but nice, clever idea. But again, it was a regional show, and it didn't work out for us. And again, how many shows do people want to go to? I mean, you take a lot of industry. They have 1 or 2 shows off an East Coast West show. I mean, big industries. Well, as big as a fastener business. But look, we have one national fastener association and 13 regionals, and I'm not sure they work together very well yet. And
you're assuming that they are going to one day.
Well, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. It's just we don't need 2 shows and 10 or 11 tabletops a year.
Well, you mentioned associations, Mike, and you have deep roots in the National Association, which is the NFDA. What are your observations on that? I mean, you think there's going to be further consolidation in that area too? I mean, what's your take on the situation with associations in the fastener industry these days?
Oh, I don't see any more consolidation at all. I mean, you had the LA and the Pac West merge. I think that was a good merger. But I don't. And Chicago's very dominant, I think, next to the NFDA, and I don't think they would merge with Cleveland, or Cleveland would merge with the Metropolitan. Or people want to kind of protect their own, territory, if you will. So I don't see them merging here at all. I haven't even thought about it, honestly.
Sure. Well, I know you talk to a lot of people, and I don't know, maybe somebody's hinting something's going to happen, but you're saving the scoop for Marty, is what I don't know.
Well, not that. No.
You sure?
Not on this topic. Not on this topic.
So then getting back to the shows for a sec then, what do you think about what Emerald's doing with the Vegas show? I mean, are you encouraged? Do you think they're on the right path? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I had a good conversation with them here recently. They're smart. They got the resources. They got the tools. They are very driven to improve the show. They have a laundry list of ideas that they want to try to implement. Some they'll do this year, next year, and probably 2 years from now. And they're constantly doing some changes. I know the topics for the seminars, I think, will be very worthwhile for distributors to attend this year. They've added a half day of the show to let the domestic manufacturers to go visit and spend time in the machinery section. And also, if people want to go and talk to the what they call Source Global section of the show, which is primarily China and Taiwan, they go see those people. That's a half day, say before the 2-day show. They're doing that this year. They're involved with the Hall of Fame. There's some changes there coming probably in a year. So no, hell, they know what they're doing. They're the biggest trade show company in the United States. And they listen to people. They want to know. I think Morgan will be, traveling to more events or meetings around the country in the coming year or so. And again, he listens, and they take ideas, if you will, they take them to committees and discuss them in greater depth and come up with solutions or ideas they think will benefit the show and the industry. So no, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with them.
I tell you, you mentioned the seminars at the show, and I don't know what Matt Brooks did at the Fastener Fair USA in Cleveland in April, but they sprinkled some magic pixie dust on their seminar sessions, their breakouts, because the attendance was fantastic. I mean, they were more consistently widely attended than anything I've ever seen at the Vegas show, and I don't know exactly how they did it, but our booth was nearby so we could see it firsthand. It'll be interesting to see if that carries over into Vegas this year. I mean, is the industry just ready for breakout sessions now, or I wonder what's going on?
No, I think the industry's interested in good topics, and I can't say over the years that the topics have always been as key to the times or as interesting as people thought they were. Timing may have been a problem, but I think the seminars this year in Vegas will be more successful than they have been in the past. And if they're not, Emerald will work to improve it, to correct it. They're very aggressive. They're very positive. And again, like I say, they got the resources to get things done.
Well, the industry will be watching. Now, turning the conversation to the Hall of Fame, which you also mentioned, I'll point out here that you were inducted into the Fastener Industry Hall of Fame in 1994. That's a few years back, but you are a Hall of Famer.
Well, I did an article on the Hall of Fame, but I started it back the second year after the show. We started it, and actually it came a little bit from Woody Hayes and Jack Nicklaus. And Woody Hayes always talked about paying forward, which I believe in strongly and still try to do today. And Jack Nicklaus had his memorial tournament, or he still does. He honors a golfer every year. Yep. So I kind of put those two ideas together, and when we started the Hall of Fame back in 1983, I believe was the first year. And I can't say, but Emerald was working to improve the Hall of Fame and make it, say, more interesting and stuff.
Or more relevant. Okay. How do you make sure that the choices don't become part of an old boys network? Okay.
Well, I'm not on the committee, so I don't know how they start.
It's just my question, because, you could be, fortunately, you're in the United States. You're not in, where I grew up, but you could be Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, and if you're in New Zealand, you wouldn't even be invited to join one of the local business clubs because you didn't go to the right school.
Yeah. Well, I heard a criticism a few months ago that historically a lot of the people came out of Ohio. Well, yeah, probably going back 30 years ago or so, it did, but Ohio was almost the center of the fastener industry at that time.
Still is.
And you had you had the major manufacturers. You had the Lamson Sessions. We had, we inducted a few fellows from the IFI. The NFDA was sort of headquartered in Columbus with Mary Ann Langholtz was running and are active in it. So, yeah, and so I say we, that's the wrong term. We didn't select people because of geographical regions. We select them for what they've contributed and done for the industry. So I don't think there's a good old boys network like that, Brian. There may have been way back when, but not today.
I don't think it's going on right now either. I think there are other issues myself. I think there should be way more than just one inductee per year, for example. That's my opinion on that. Historically, there were a lot more. As a matter of fact, I went back and I counted up over the years since 1982, there have been 101 inductees. And the average on the years where there were inductees is 3.5 inductees per year.
Right, yeah.
And there were 29 years where there have been inductees. So it's kind of interesting statistics. As long as we have you on the horn, and you're a guy who knows this history better than anybody, I'm curious. There were a few years where there were no inductees. So we had 2003 and 2005, and on those years there were no inductees, and then there was a later 2009 through 2013 zero. What happened during those times? I mean, what was going on?
Well, I'm trying to think. I can't recall a year we didn't have a ceremony, an induction. So I'm not. I'd have to look at the numbers and figures you got. But I remember we usually always had one. Part of the change in Columbus, it was a dinner, a banquet, if you will, and it filled the whole evening. In Vegas, people don't want to go, I don't think, to a banquet, or they want to go to shows. They want to take customers out and entertain. So the location has had a great effect on the timing. How many people could we induct, and how many people? If we held it at night, would it work? Now, I think if they made it I don't want to say a black tie dinner, but maybe a nice, more formal dinner in a nice restaurant in Vegas, and you could have 2 or 3 people inducted and have more of a ceremony. But again, that's a decision Emerald has to make, and I know they've heard a dozen ideas on how to change and improve the Hall of Fame, and I think they'll weigh all those ideas, and they'll try some, and maybe some will work and some won't, but they will continue to try to improve the Hall of Fame because they understand how important it is.
Well, it'll be fun to watch, that's for sure, and I'm sure Marty will get the scoop.
Well, he's only got one story. Maybe we go up the French River. We could fish and talk for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's when we're going to get all the real stories out of you, Mike. We got to get you on the water. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Now, are you going to have a booth at this year's Vegas show with your new endeavor?
I don't know yet. I don't know. That's up in the air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do with yourself between now and then?
Oh, I'll be busy. I've been busy. Yeah, like I say, when we break it, I think you'll like it. I think you'll think, wow. I hope it's a wow factor for you.
Oh,
I'd
good.
be more than happy to discuss it in greater detail.
We'll be fine.
But, yeah.
Well, it's good talking to you about that, even though we're not really getting details, and I hope that we're doing our part in helping you build some excitement for your pre-release of whatever it is that you're doing, zygology-wise and otherwise. And we thank you for sharing some of your insights and some of your observations on the fastener industry, because it's been too long since we've talked to you on the podcast, Mike McGuire.
Well, give me a call. I have to say one thing in retirement was tough. For the first 6 months, I was, I guess, okay, and then I just got bored as hell, and you can't play golf and cards all day long every day. So I'm not doing hardly any of that right now, and just been working, and I'm glad I am and enjoying it.
Good. Okay. Well, we hope you can do that for a lot longer.
Well, it seems to be agreeing with you. Like I said, Mike, you look great, and you sound good. So once again, we've been talking with Mike McGuire, the former partner of the Vegas show, NIFS as it was once known, and also the publisher of American Fastener Journal. We'll be hearing more, it sounds like, as soon as Marty breaks the news. Thanks again, Mike.
Talk to your buddy. Don't take him fishing and leave him out there now.
Who said we even thought of doing that?
It depends what the news is.
Yeah.
These guys aren't screwing around much. Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded Radio, Internet Talk Radio for the fastener industry.
BTM Manufacturing is a domestic ISO 9001 manufacturer of threaded fasteners and bent wire products. From anchor bolts to studs to U-bolts, BTM is committed to making your per-print special with the highest quality standards while meeting your on-time delivery schedule. Since BTM began in 1961, this family-owned business has remained focused on providing exceptional service to their customers. Centrally located in Kansas City, Missouri, BTM recently expanded into a 100,000 square foot facility, which allows for the production and manufacture of many projects simultaneously, both large and small quantity. BTM's website at btm-mfg.com allows you to submit custom quotes quickly and easily, and once you do, a BTM team member will contact you as soon as possible to discuss your needs. Are you ready to get started? BTM is. Visit www.btm-mfg.com today.
This is Paula Evans, MWFA Fastener Show Chairman, inviting you to join us June 4th for our 37th Annual Fastener Show. This year's show will be at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove, Illinois. This event is produced by the fastener industry for the fastener industry. Its success returns to the industry through scholarships, education, and informative programs. Also join us for the largest fastener industry golf outing the following day. More details of these events can be found at mwfa.net. Hope to see you there.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
Hey, this is Clayton Allen from Buckeye Fasteners in Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Brian and Eric back with you to wrap up another Fastener Fandango.
The fascinating Fastener Fandango.
That would be the one. Well, Brian, I completely agree with Mike McGuire, and I think that there should be at least 3 and probably 4 inductees into the Fastener Hall of Fame. I mean, it seems to me that this industry really is behind in recognizing some of its real standout players. There should be more than one.
Okay. Yeah, well, we've certainly met over our years in this industry numerous great people who could be inducted, I think.
And I don't know how many people get nominated every year, but I would be shocked if there wasn't a backlog. And like in professional sports, you know, when people are nominated, they hang there for a while, and so they have chances year after year. I mean, it's not like you have to be renominated each year. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways they could approach it, but to me it just seems like there are some real obvious ones, and there should be a lot of them, and I'd like to see this made into a real event and honor some of these people who are out there, because there's a lot of them, I think.
And clear up the backlog at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, in your zeal then to get more people into the Hall of Fame, did you nominate anyone?
I did. I nominated Bob Kierlin, founder of Fastenal, and needless to say, he was not inducted, which isn't to say that the person who beat him out wasn't worthy. It's just that it just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. I mean, put it this way. If we were running a Hall of Fame, say, for the retail industry, and Sam Walton was up, wouldn't you put him in as a pretty obvious no-brainer? I mean, it's like, does Babe Ruth belong in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Of course he does. To me, it's just a no-brainer.
Okay, yeah, well, he did lead, I guess he did introduce things that are now regarded as totally normal, commonplace. VMI was one of them, actually, years and years and years ago.
Well, he's a pioneer. I'll tell you, Professor Würth is another obvious example. Traveling salesman, too, but, you got a problem there because nobody really knows his true identity, so it'd be hard to get him the award.
Right, yeah. He's always hiding behind his palm tree, okay? Yeah.
Well, we could talk about it for hours, as we probably will during an upcoming episode at some point. But right now, let's thank the guests on today's episode of Fully Threaded Radio. Mike McGuire, Hall of Famer himself, joined us. The lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey talked about this year's Fastener Training Scholarship. She had Shenice Peterson from Empire and Michael Shibasaki from Fuller Metric with her. Mike McNulty and Marc Strandquist kicked around the Fastener Distributor Index numbers. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
And Carmen Vertullo was here with another Fastener Training Minute. Thanks to all of our guests and contributors, and thanks to you, folks, for listening in. Thanks also to the great lineup of sponsors here on the podcast. The title sponsor of Fully Threaded Radio is Stellfast. Stellfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. Fully Threaded Radio is also sponsored by Buckeye Fasteners, BTM Manufacturing, Fastenal, Fastener Technology International, InSequel Software, ND Industries, the Würth Group, Volt Industrial Plastics, the International Fastener Expo, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Please reach out and let us know what you think of the podcast, folks, or if you have questions or comments. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com, and we're out there on Twitter where the handle is Fully Threaded, so you can reach out that way as well.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Solution Industries, home of Solution Man, and 2 loom bolts. Okay.
I could have, easily. Good point.
Right.
Actually, my mind was wandering back to zygology a little bit, Bright, because I wanted to touch on that before we wrapped it. Yeah, before we wrap this up.
I knew it would wander back to that subject.
Uh-huh. Well, it's a little bit of an enigmatic word, and you and Mike McGuire touched on this a little bit while you were talking about it during his segment. And here's a weird part about it, okay? So it seems to have a dual meaning, as you pointed out. One of them is the study of joining and fastening, and then the other one is the study of zygotes, or fertilized eggs.
Right. That was the one I picked up first, okay?
Actually, that seems to be the more widely used of the two meanings.
I would say that's the more correct one, because that's the scientific meaning, because a zygote is a newly fertilized egg.
Right. And so that's where this weirdness comes in. And don't tell this to the folks who run the company, zygology.com, because that's a UK-based company. You can go out there, anyone can, and see that they're out there. Of course, no epistemology of the name on their website, but they couldn't be reached for comment.
Yeah, I went and looked there for that too.
Yeah. But it turns out that the word zygote comes from, or stems from, this Greek word zeugma, which is Greek for yolk. And somehow, according to Mike McGuire, there's a join in there, no pun intended, with fastening, and therefore that's how the zygology is derived. Okay, so that seems a little bit contrived, but there you have it. Now, zygote, on the other hand, is a different kind of yolk, right? You've got a yolk like you put on an oxen, and then you've got a yolk that's in an egg. Okay, so,
right.
And I don't think they had that kind of, what is this, a homonym, or is that what you call this?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so, but it's a Greek word. So I don't know. The tie-in just seems like it might be a little extended.
Yeah, I think it's extended, but whatever.
So where does that leave us?
Confused.
It's kind of like the tariff situation.
Yeah, I agree, actually.
So much ambiguity facing the fastener world, folks. But don't worry, because one thing that's not ambiguous is the return of Fully Threaded Radio for yet another episode. But for now, that's going to put this episode in the can.
Or back in the shell.
Nah, this one's already been cracked, Bri, beyond repair.
Okay, righto.
Thanks for listening in, everybody. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, break some eggs perhaps, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you next time, folks.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fasteners Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.